The other key trend that we will cover is hybrids, as I alluded to earlier. So with all of those negative prices that we're seeing in the grid, solar and battery hybrids have become very popular over the last 12 months, but we are actually also seeing wind and battery as well, and in some instances, all three. So before we go into more depth about hybrids, let's talk about exactly what is a hybrid. So we'll start with the standalone case first. So if you have a standalone battery, what that means is that you have a connection point, and then you've got one asset behind that connection point. So it could be a battery, or you could have a solar farm or a wind farm, but the idea is it's one asset behind one connection point that's standalone. Now, before we had true hybrids, the more common case was what you see on the right, which is a co-located asset. So that's where you might have, say, a solar farm and a battery on adjacent property. They're next to each other, but they actually have two separate connection points to the grid. So that's co-located. It's not a true hybrid. So when we say hybrid, what we're meaning there is that you've got more than one asset behind the same connection point. And what typically happens in a hybrid is that the total size of your assets is actually bigger than the capacity of the connection point itself. So for example, you might have a 200 megawatt connection, and then behind that, you might have a solar farm and a battery, which might have a total capacity of 300 megawatts. So your total asset capacity very often exceeds the maximum capacity at the connection point.